proposing before the WTO with regard to the waiver of the patents. And so let us see, and what are the provisions actually in the Indian Patent Act, which can the government of the India can evoke so that the vaccines can be made available, not only the vaccines, but the other drugs which can cure the COVID in this present time. So let us start, because the first question comes over here in that compulsory license. For with regard to the compulsory license, I should tell you around in 2013 till date in India, only one compulsory license has been issued, and that first compulsory license was issued to NATCO with regard to a drug composition of Bayer Corporation, and that particular drug composition was with regard to the carboxy substituted diphenyl urease. And this particular drug is a sorafenib tosylate. This is the chemical composition of that particular drug is. And this drug is actually used to, I would not say for the treatment, but it increases the life expectancy for the cancer patients which are on their fourth stage of renal and hepatic cancers. So from there in, a lot of a conversation happened. There were many issues were raised when this particular license was issued. But till then, the compulsory license became a very usual term actually. So, and everyone started knowing that yes, there are the certain provisions which can be taken into consideration by the government and and the government can issue a compulsory license. So this was the first case which happened, and a long trials went behind this particular issuance of a compulsory license and till the Supreme Court as well. So let us see. First of all, I would like to go and make everyone understand what are actually patents. So these are the exclusive rights, which are exclusive rights to make, use, and sell any of an invention which is granted to a patentee or a grantee. But such rights are given and a disclosure of an invention is provided by that applicant with respect to a product and or a process. In one invention, there can be a product and a process, or only a product or a process with regard to a technological disclosure. It's actually a technological disclosure. Now, but when such kind of disclosures are provided before the Indian Patent Office, these inventions have to qualify certain criteria, and these criteria are the novelty, inventiveness, and the industrial applicability. Novelty means it needs to be new. Inventiveness means it should not be obvious to a person who is skilled in the art. It means it should involve a technological advancement and or a economic significance. Industrial applicability means it can be used and made in any of our industry. If any of a disclosure provided by an applicant qualifies these criteria, the patent is granted to them. So, but the term of a patent is 20 years from the date of filing of an application. However, once the patent is granted to a patentee, are there any obligations laid down in the Indian Patents Act with regard to the working, or I can just have a monopoly over the invention for which I have had a patent? So in the Indian Patent Act has a particular obligations or the general principles with regard to the working of a patented invention in the territory of India. What these provisions are. It says that the patents are granted to encourage inventions and to secure that the inventions are worked in India on commercial scale and to the fullest extent. And that is reasonably practical without undue delay. It means once the patent is granted to a patentee, they have to start working that particular invention on a commercial scale in India as soon as possible. So they cannot just sit on the invention and wait and just have a monopoly over it. They have to start working that particular invention. on a commercial scale, which is reasonably practical without any undue delay. Why this undue delay? They have actually mentioned at times what happens. They don't have a manufacturing units in India, or even if they want to license. So this undue delay thing actually plays a role over there. So I'm not going to go into the much of the nitty-gritties of it. So the next provision says that uh, when the patent is granted, it should actually promote the technological innovations. Okay, it should not hamper them. Okay, and it should enable to disseminate the technologies for what? For the social and economic welfare. The next provision says that it it should be enable the inventions. The grant of the patent actually should not impede the protection of a public health and the nutrition. So right now, if we see in the present circumstances, we do see that the most of the innovations or the patents are belonging to the international firms who are not actually belonging to the territory of the India. So a lot of a question is arise on this particular part, that the innovations are always granted, even if they are granted in the territory of India, they should not in any way hamper the public health and the nutrition. So they should work in the public interest. So this is one of the clause which is actually playing a major role in the present times. The next comes in, and the invention which is going to work in the territory of India should be available to the public at a reasonably affordable prices, so that the maximum of the public get a benefit out of it. Okay. The next uh, system comes in. If the patents are granted, they do not in any way, they should not prohibit the central government in taking the measures to protect the public health concerns. If see right now, there are the other certain provisions which I'll discuss in the next slides, where the government has a power to evoke the compulsory license uh, in order to protect the public health in this present and the current time. So this is one of the provisions with regard to the working of a patent in India. So the next provision is that the patent right should not unreasonably restrain trade or adversely affect the international transfer of technologies. We will discuss this as well later on. And the another aspect is patents are granted to make the benefit of the patented invention available at a reasonably affordable price to the public. If you see in these particular provision, a lot of emphasis has been given on the part that it should be available to the public. It should be available to the public at a reasonably affordable prices, and it should not in any way impede the technological advancement or the transfer of a technology. So the main crux of these provisions lies in these particular aspects which I have talked about. So the next comes in when a compulsory license is issued. So there are the certain provisions and there are the certain clauses which needs to be fulfilled when anyone is making an application for a issuance of a compulsory license. So the main section with regard to it is the section 84 of the Indian Patents Act, which says that the compulsory license is issued when the reasonable requirements with respect to the public, to the patented invention, has not been satisfied. Okay, if I understand, when the first compulsory license was issued on the Nexaware, which was a Bayer Corporation patent application on a patent, so that time only that particular invention was able to satisfy the 2% need of the entire of that particular to say requirements. It was just able to have the 2% of requirements were fulfilled that time. That is why this was the one of the grounds of the NATCO in their application. So the second point is that the patented invention is not available to the public at a reasonably affordable price. So NATCO took a ground that
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you.
हाँ
I
जी.
think your screen is not shared. We cannot see the people.
You cannot?
After the working of patterns, the
I
screen was stopped sharing.
Okay. Let me share it. Is it visible now, please? Can you
Yes, ma'am.
just tell
Yes,
me?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is. It is.
Okay, so I was on this point when the NATCO made a submission that the drug Nexavar was not available to the public at affordable prices. So it was costing around 2.5 lakh, more than that, for the entire course of a drug. But NATCO proposed that it can manufacture the drug at a very affordable price and make it available at a cost of 8,000 rupees. So which was a pretty less price on which NATCO proposed to actually make it available to the public or to the patients. The next part is that whether the invention has worked in the territory of India. So during that time, Bayer was just making the invention actually, the drugs were actually getting exported by the Bayer in the Indian territory. So they had no such manufacturing. So this was one of the point which was taken by the NATCO in their application while filing an application for a compulsory license. And but the courts had a different opinion in this regard. They said that until the requirement is met at a reasonably affordable prices, so it doesn't make any kind of impediment if the invention is getting exported and if it is not literally working in the territory of India, or it is not just getting manufactured in the territory of India. So these are the basic requirements which need to be actually compliant, or submissions are need to be given by an applicant when they are filing an application for a compulsory license. Now comes in, there are the other criterias when the government issues or the controller issues a compulsory license. They look into these factors as well before issuing. What is the nature of the invention? There are the certain inventions which take a lot of time to work actually. So that's why they look into the nature of the invention. The second one is the time lapsed. Since the sealing of a patent, you have to give a reasonable time to the patentee at least, so that the invention can work or they can work towards it. The another one is that the measures already taken by the patentee to make full use of the invention. So are there any efforts the patentee is putting in so that the invention can be made or manufactured or worked in the territory of India? The next one is comes in the ability of, see, now they also judge the ability of the applicant who is filing an application for the issuance of compulsory license, whether they are able to cater the need if the compulsory license is issued to them for the public advantage. The next one is the capacity of the applicant to undertake the risk with respect to the capital and the working of that particular invention. And the last one, if the applicant made the efforts, so made the efforts to seek a license from the patentee on a reasonable terms. So this is these are the clauses which the applicant for a compulsory license has to also fulfill, and they have to show their capacity towards all these factors as well. The next one comes in. I don't know. So in the present time, there is a lot of talk going on with regard to the issuance of a compulsory license or a waiver of IP rights in the medicines. So we have to see that there are the certain provisions through which the central government can take a decision to issue the compulsory license, even if no application is filed by a third party. So the section 92 actually deals with this particular provision, and it says that the government of or the central government in the circumstances of a national emergency or extreme urgency or in case of public non-commercial use can issue notifications in this regard for the issuance of a compulsory license. And once such notification is issued by the central government, the controller on the application of a third party can issue a compulsory license to that particular party. However, we see that in the present circumstances, no such notification has been issued by the central government in this regard. The next comes in, we have to see is that whether any offer patent is with respect to COVID-19 vaccines is available or not. If we see and if we go back, like in India, around 18 months, it takes around 18 months for the disclosure of an invention by the Indian Patent Office. It means there is a publication. Once the application is filed, any of an applicant, and within the 18 months, the Indian government issues a journal in which they disclose the details of the application filed. So since the 18 months has not been lapsed till date since the COVID has actually came into picture, so we don't see the exact technologies and we don't have any particular idea with regard to specifically with respect to the COVID-19 vaccines actually. But there are certain technologies which actually uh, which are presently used to treat the cancer. Or see, there is a group of technologies which works. No invention actually works in isolation. So there are the companies which already have a patent for the technologies which can be used to create such vaccines. So these are the biotech and the Pfizer technology, which is working on a mRNA technologies. And the similarly, there is a Moderna mRNA vaccine is available. And there is another one which is for the adenoviral vectors derived from the chimpanzee adenovirus vaccines are available, which belongs to AstraZeneca and the Oxford University, as well as one more vaccine, which with regard to Johnson and Johnson, and one is with the another patentee is already available. But these are not the straightforwardly with regard to the COVID-19, but these are the associated technologies actually. So if I do see that these technologies are available, can we go for a compulsory license? But the government of India has not issued any kind of a notification in this regard till date to have a forced compulsory license, I would say rather. So and the another one aspect comes in, if any, as I told you, that we don't know whether any of a patented vaccine is available for the COVID-19 or not. Sure on that part. So if any of a patented drug is not available, so what we will do? What is the way behind it? And how a compulsory license can be issued? So there is one that invention for the purpose of the government in respect of the public health actually. So, but there are the certain challenges with regard to the trade secrets and other necessary informations, which will create a lot of issues in this regard. Because as I told you, the inventions, these are a lot of inventions work with respect to a single particular, for a drug, if I say, for a technology. So in this regard, we will possibly, if we have for example, if I tell you, if we get a compulsory license for the biotech and the Pfizer vaccine, but this will be for this particular technology. But what will happen to the associated technologies? You cannot compel them to issue every single invention a compulsory license or a license for every single invention. So this is going to be a little challenge. And even in the technology aspect, there are a lot of analytical studies or the data studies that you require when you want to make the ultimate formula. So possibly there is an apprehension that we cannot force the already existing patentees to share such kind of information if we go by the Section 100 of the Indian Patents Act. The next, even if the government of India has raised a serious issue with regard to that, and till today, the government of India has not taken any particular step to issue licenses, actually compulsory licenses. So even a statement of the government was issued, and in which they emphasized that this is not they are not just behind having a formula for having the medicines, but they are looking for the active partnership. And and even they are looking to have the high levels of the biosafety labs, and they want to work with the technology transfer systems. So they are not just, that is why possibly this is the reason the government is not evoking any kind of a compulsory license, and they want to work in the harmony with the other inventors who has, or the applicants who has invested a lot into their R&D sectors. So in this regard, if we see, the WHO has also made a COVID-19 technology access pools, where they have proposed and they have requested, or a lot of pharmaceutical companies, wherein they can share the intellectual property knowledge and the data with regards to the COVID vaccines. And this is going to be a kind of a voluntary approach which they can take into. And these would actually, if any of our invention is put in this particular CTAP, so that is going to be free to access by anyone across the world to make the vaccines. But we do see there are not much of a positive responses coming in through the grantees or the patentees of the technology who do have a rights in the technologies. So but now there is if you remember, the government of India is asking for a IP waiver a lot. So we have to see the vaccine data and why this all is coming in, why the government of India is imposing a lot on it and giving a proposal lot on it for the well-being of the entire world, not just for the citizens of the India. If we see, and we can look into this particular word map, this is with regard to the vaccine data, the first doses actually. And if we see, there are the certain least developed country wherein the population less than the 1% of a population has got a vaccine till date. And if we compare it with the other developed nation, it ranges to 70% or more than 70% of a population has already got a vaccine. So there is a huge gap between with regard to the access of a vaccine for the least developed countries and for the very well developed countries. So in order to minimize this gap, the government of India is coming up with a proposal. And even if I was reading in a national daily, if this is going to be the rate for the least developed countries by the end of the 2024, all the citizens of these least developed country will get the first doses. So can you see the huge gap which is going on? So in order to minimize this, the government of India is asking a lot and putting a lot of pressure and the effort with regard to this. So the government of India has initiated and asked for a waiver with regard to the COVID-19 vaccines and the technologies before the WTO. And in the recent G7 summit, which happened in England, the India was actually invited as a guest, where the PM Modi also raised a slogan, One Earth, One Health. and they emphasized a lot on this particular proposal, and they have asked all the developed nation who are the part of the G7 to come up and have their inventions free to use for the public. So in the even we can see the certain positive steps which has already been taken by the G7, and the G7 assured and announced the sharing of 870 million doses to support the least developed countries and for the equitable access of the vaccines in the 2021 and 20. And now, the proposal that the Indian government is giving with regard to the waiver of the IP rights, the around 63 countries has backed India with respect to this proposal. And what will happen if the WTO accepts this particular proposal? There would be a relaxation of 3 years and any of a pharmaceutical company or any of a territory can use these inventions. It means it is a kind of a freedom to operate will be given to all these pharmaceutical companies, and they can produce their generic versions of the COVID vaccine drugs. And in the present time, I was just reading yesterday or day before yesterday, that the WTO has asked, and they have proposed to have a text negotiations with respect to the IP rights waiver. So I understand that WTO and the other organizations and a lot of the countries are coming up, and we will soon hear something positive with regard to this, and it will be kind of a landmark thing which will